This is Football Night in America, built by Lowe's.
Welcome to the Football Night in America podcast presented by Lowe's. Maria Taylor alongside Matthew Berry, Devin McCourty, Jason Garrett. We're still outside in the cold. Outside
Yes,
Lincoln
we are.
Financial Field. Yeah, the game hasn't finished yet, but we wanted to make sure that we get your Week 11 pod. And let's start with what we saw happening in Denver. The Broncos getting a win over the Chiefs. The Chiefs now 5-5. The Broncos are 9-2. It's almost like a different season. How would you explain what we saw from the Broncos? Let's give them their flowers first.
It was a shocker to me. I thought Kansas City was going to go in there and win the game. So much was on the line in terms of the division. I thought this was going to be the game that gave them a chance to have some momentum to finish out and be the AFC West champs again. Denver did not go away. Their defense is fantastic. They get after the quarterback. But again, like we've seen all year long, they make the big plays and the big moments in the fourth quarter. I give Bo Nix a lot of credit.
It reminded me being in New England and Josh Allen comes into the division and we still get the wins. We're winning in 2019, close game. We find a way to win. 2020 hits, this guy catches fire, and then the belief. The Bills turned into this is our division. And I thought this game has a chance to be that. You're trying to take down the Kansas City Chiefs. You fall short last year. Now you come out and you make the plays to win. That's what they did. That last drive, Bo Nix completing third down conversions, going ahead, getting the field goal. Sometimes that's a confidence you need to say, hey, you know what? This is our division now, and that's what they're going to try to do.
You know, it's interesting you say about that last year. You never want to say something's a good loss, but Coach Payton talked about this after the game. The loss to Kansas City last year where they lost on a blocked field goal, where they had that game won and they lose a blocked field goal. From that moment on, they go on a 5-2 run. They make the playoffs, and obviously this year they've been fantastic. You know, as you mentioned, Maria, they're 9-2. This is super impressive, I think. Last year, Kansas City, you know that movie Freaky Friday? Mm-hmm. You know, where they switch places? That's what I feel like happened. Last year, the Kansas City Chiefs were 12-0 in one-score games. This year, they're 0-5. Meanwhile, you talk about it, Denver keeps finding a way to win, and I feel like they have sort of slayed the dragon, if you will, right? You know, Mahomes and the Chiefs and all the aura. Coming into this game, Andy Reid, and I think this is one of the greatest records of all of coaching, Andy Reid coming to this game was 27-4 lifetime, including the playoffs off of a bye. And so we were all like, their season's on the line. It's Andy Reid off of a bye. This is Kansas City's game. And the Broncos said, no, thank you, no. And so, I mean, I think a lot of soul searching going on in Kansas City tonight.
Let me make a prediction, though. We're still in the middle of November.
Yep.
They're 5-5. They have 7 games to play. They probably don't win the division.
Yep.
Right.
But don't be surprised if Kansas City resets.
You don't want to play them in the playoffs.
and makes a little run here,
Yep.
Sneaks themselves into the playoffs, and they'll be hard to beat.
Yeah,
The only thing I wanted to say about that, Coach, real quickly, is that I think the defense has to step up, right? They finally take the lead in the fourth quarter. They're up 19-16, and you're like, all right, well, they got this now, right? You know, but then Denver marches down, ties it up, they get a stop, and then they end up winning the game.
Yeah.
Game-winning field goal, Will Lutz.
It was a shocker.
You know, let's keep it in the AFC at one of the teams that the Chiefs right now are looking up at, and that's the Buffalo Bills playing really well against Tampa Bay. Devin, you and I did the highlight, and we were just like, all right, it's just going back and forth, 9 lead changes, Josh Allen scoring 6 touchdowns. It was a fun one to watch. If you're a Bills fan, you get the win, too.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, Buffalo beats Kansas City, who we thought Kansas City was hot. And we're like, Buffalo has arrived. They figured it out. Then they lose in Miami last week, so now you play Tampa. Kincaid is out. Keon Coleman, healthy scratch because he misses a meeting. Then they go out there today, and Josh Allen puts his cape on. He says, hey, guys, we're going to flash back 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm just going to do everything. It was phenomenal to watch. I think what you said at halftime was perfect, or before the game. Let's not worry about if Buffalo's going to be the team in the AFC. Let's just enjoy a 6-touchdown day by Josh Allen. I mean, watching it is so much fun. Mm-hmm. Being out there as a player playing against Josh Allen, the experience I had from that, I have nightmares still. I tell my kids, there's a quarterback named Josh Allen. He's really good, guys. And when you go out there and watch him do that, it's phenomenal.
The thing when I watch this guy play, I just shake my head because the guys chasing him are great. They're unbelievable athletes. And it's like he's got the ball over his head and just kind of doing his thing. And, you know, throw 3, run for 3. In all the big moments, he makes all the plays. It was something else. They do have some deficiencies on the team they got to address. They got to get that run defense going. But for 24 hours, soak it all in,
Just
baby.
enjoy it.
It was awesome.
It was a big win, especially you mentioned the loss to Miami, and they had the losses to they had the loss to New England as well, and so people are wondering about Buffalo. But
New England's so good. So.
yeah, sure. Very unbiased opinion right there. Devin McCourty, a 12-time captain of the New England Patriots. But I want to talk a little bit about Tampa Bay here, which I thought, I think we can all marvel at the greatness of the reigning MVP, Josh Allen, doing Josh Allen things. But I was disappointed in Tampa Bay here. This is they're almost there. But, you think about Tampa Bay loses to New England. They lose to Buffalo. They've got the Rams up next. That's who they play next week. That's a really tough matchup here. And it's like they're good and they're not great. It feels like they're a little bit like Buffalo last year. Like they're knocking on the door. We know they can be great, but they just haven't put it together consistently.
But I do think they have to get healthy. Bucky Irvin's a huge part. Getting Chris Godwin back.
Mike Evans.
They have to get healthy. They have to get some guys back out there. Beginning of the year, offensive line was beat up. Then the skill guys get beat up. Until they get all those guys back, I agree with you. They're going to keep falling short against the good teams.
All right, guys, it's time to earn your Sunday presented by Lowe's, and we go right into the speed round now. And we are going to start with the worst loss that we saw in Week 11.
Well, I mean, we just talked about the Chiefs. I mean, that was a got-to-have-it win if you want to win the division. But I'll give you 2 more real quickly. I thought this, from a look standpoint, the Chargers going into Jacksonville and just getting blown out. That was as ugly a loss in terms of what it looked like, I thought. It was an embarrassing loss. I don't think I've seen a Jim Harbaugh team look that unprepared in that. And I'll also just say the Falcons. The Falcons, with the Buccaneers losing, they had a chance in this division, and I know Penix gets hurt and Drake London gets banged up too, but you got swept by the Panthers. If we talked about this at the beginning of the year, you say, you're sort of looking at your schedule well, that one's going to be a tough one, but that one's probably a W. Losing twice to the Panthers. And credit Bryce Young and credit the Panthers. They played great, but to me, that was a really bad loss in the division.
Yeah, he took both the losses today. That's really good.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to go with this first one, the Chargers. I think for the Chargers, you get off to a good start this year, and it's unfortunate. You said it. They're playing a style that they don't necessarily want to play. The offensive line's beat up. But Jacksonville is not a team that's played at a high level, so you just kind of assume, hey, they would come in here, find a way to get a win after they beat Pittsburgh last week. To play the way they did, it just makes it tough for them going forward to stay alive in this playoff race.
Yeah, and I think in a lot of ways it exposed them.
Yep.
I mean, they can't block anybody. I mean, Herbert's running for his life. I mean, for that guy to throw for 81 yards in an NFL game, I mean, that's unconscionable. The other one for me was Minnesota. Minnesota goes ahead at the end of the game, and then Chicago comes right back with the kick return by Duvernay, and Chicago finds a way to win another one. Minnesota had a chance to kind of stay in the fight a little bit, but it's looking like it's an uphill battle now.
I'll come right back to you for who is the best team in the NFL.
Talk about them. They're sitting next to you.
Yeah,
all of them.
I got to go with Philadelphia.
They are sitting next to you, Jason. They're right there.
Yeah.
I thought it was a big win for the Patriots the other night against the Jets. I really did. I mean, that was huge for them. The Patriots are awfully good. Drake May playing out of his mind. I do think teams like Philadelphia and the Rams, those guys for me are the best teams right now.
Mm-hmm.
Speak it into existence.
I mean, you might as well.
Drake May and those New England Patriots are here. What a win Thursday night. The energy in the stadium was electric. There's probably some teams better than them, but for right now, we're going with the New England Patriots.
Look,
it's not the Commanders.
There's a very real possibility that the road to the Super Bowl in the AFC goes through New England. So you guys have played absolutely well, but to me, I think it's the Rams, and I decided that today. When you play Sam Darnold, there hasn't been a quarterback in the NFL that's as hot as Sam Darnold has been this year, and they get 4 interceptions from Darnold today. Big win. They've got great skill players. Stafford's playing as well as any quarterback in the NFL. McVay's as good a coach as there is in the NFL. Look, there's a lot of teams that you can point to and say they're right there in the mix, but for me today, I think it's the Rams.
Darnold will be happy if he never sees the Rams
ever again.
Yeah.
Last year
Especially
in the
at
playoffs.
midnight mode.
this
We don't
year.
need the black dirt. We don't need any of that. He's like, keep that to yourself. Good news.
But so much of this, Maria, we talk about this. Week 11, it's feeling like it's getting late.
Yeah.
But every year we see a team,
time.
you know, the end of November, December, when they start to get hot, and that's the team that gets after it.
The Eagles last year.
Yeah, the
Very
Eagles
true.
last year.
Very
so,
true.
You know, we'll have a lot of different narratives to write here
No
the last
doubt.
couple months of the season.
Hey, good news for you is we've actually got the Rams on Sunday Night Football next week. They're taking on the Buccaneers. Apparently, our bosses aren't sending us there because they said, listen, if it's not going to be 30 degrees, wind gusts up to 25 miles per hour,
That's where
you
we
don't
travel.
get to go. But thank you so much for joining us on the Football Night in America podcast. We'll see you next week for Football Night in America. We'll be in the studio at 7 Eastern on NBC and Peacock.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.